You hunt for very long, and you know the feeling. You think you've had a successful hunt and can't pick up the trail. Excitement turns to panic.
I'm starting to really lose confidence that I even hit that deer.
But thermal technology changes everything.
I don't believe it. Without that thermal, zero chance of finding this deer. Zero. I was out here just blindly searching, walking in circles. I still haven't seen a speck of blood. The very last step was looking through this thicket. I mean, you have to have something like this, especially for tracking at night and everything. Man, yes! Yeah, I'm so proud of you. What's going on, you guys? I'm John Turner, this is Woods to Table, and I'm so excited you joined us again today, and welcome back to our series on tools and techniques and equipment that have really contributed to our success as hunters and outdoorsmen. And I'll be honest, when we started this series, I wasn't sure if thermal technology really belonged amongst my favorites, but as time has worn on, we don't go in the woods without a thermal monocular, and I'm going to explain to you why. Today I want to run through exactly what is thermal technology, I'll compare it to night vision and explain why maybe you need both, and I'll give you my honest opinion and review of the FLIR SCOUT TK Thermal Monocular. Stick with me. Alright, so before we go too far, it's important to understand exactly what thermal technology is. So let me take a minute to explain this. Maybe more like 10 seconds, because I can do this in one sentence. Thermal technology detects radiated heat off of any surface. Could be organic material, could be a hard surface, could be a living organism, almost any living organism. Cold-blooded animals, not so much. Hot-blooded, warm-blooded animals, yes, absolutely. And what is the difference between thermal technology and night vision? You might say, do I need both? If you're me, absolutely you do. But you might have a night vision scope, you might have night vision binoculars, and it's important to understand the differences between the two. Night vision's been around for longer, but it also needs some form of ambient light in order for it to work. It can work in very low light conditions, and even newer night vision technology can work in day or night, but it needs moon, stars, it needs infrared, which is invisible to the naked eye, but visible to the night vision lens in order for it to function. Thermal technology also works in day or night, but needs absolutely no light in order for it to function, because again, it's not looking for light in order to move into the sensor, it's looking for radiated heat. Sometimes the best way to understand the difference and whether or not you have applications for both is to tell a story. Let me take you back on a hunt that Afton and I went on a couple of months ago where we absolutely needed both, and I bet this will be helpful.
So this story goes back to Afton's first ever wild boar hunt. And it was an awesome hunt. We had a great time. She made a great shot on a good-sized pig that showed up just after dark, and she dropped him in his tracks. We waited the requisite amount of time, even though he went straight down. When we climbed down out of the tree stand to go see the pig, I could hear pigs moving not far off, kind of through the brush. Looked through the night vision scope that was on the crossbow and could not see anything. So, switched over to the thermal, and I could clearly see a large group of pigs that was just through some brush about 30 or 40 yards off to our right. In this instance, I did not want to be on the ground with those things because you don't want to startle them, and those things can charge you. So there's a bit of a safety issue here. So we waited them out in the tree stand. But here you can see a comparison between the night vision scope and the thermal, where the night vision infrared illuminator is just lighting up that brush and getting so much reflection off of it that I can't see the pigs through it. But on the thermal, you can clearly see around a lot of that brush and see the heat signatures of all those pigs. Now, as it happened, it was kind of a happy accident. The pigs eventually cleared off. Another lone pig showed up later, and we were able to double up on my birthday. All around, awesome, awesome hunt. And this thermal played a key role in tracking down my pig that I shot, who didn't drop in his tracks, but we were able to locate him a little while later. So now I'll walk you through the basic specifications of the FLIR SCOUT TK Thermal Monocular, and then I'll do a side-by-side comparison with a comparable brand. It's a fairly compact unit, 6 inches long, 2 inches tall, 2 inches wide, and weighs only 6 ounces, so it's easy to carry around. The LCD screen is a 640 by 480, not the sharpest in the world, but one thing I will point out is there is no zoom available on the unit. What you see is what you get. The manufacturer states that the detection distance is up to 100 yards, and obviously the closer you are to any object, the more detail you're going to see. Let me do a quick demonstration in the field. So we'll do a quick demonstration at various distances just to show you the level of detail available on the SCOUT TK using my kids. Here at 25 and 50 yards, and I'll cycle through the color palettes just to show you the level of detail available. You can see my daughter being crazy, running around, but even at 50 yards, my son standing back there, you can see his shoulders, you can make out his head, you can still see a fairly decent level of detail. And you can imagine if this was wild game, you could easily tell what it was that you were looking at.
They were supposed to stand still.
So let's do this again and back the kids up to 75 and 100 yards. Again, I'll cycle through the color palette so you can see the level of detail available. My daughter is on the right at 75 yards. You can see shape a little bit. You can see size, but my son back there at 100 yards, you can really just see a heat signature and you really can't tell what you're looking at. So you get a good level of detail to kind of see what type of game you're looking at 75 yards, maybe the relative size of the animal against the backdrop, but at 100, you can really only tell that there's something there. But you're probably not going to be sure exactly what you're looking at. The Scout TK has a built-in rechargeable battery, plugs into your computer via USB. It's supposed to last more than 5 hours on a single charge. 9 color palettes for all kinds of ambient light conditions. There are also close to 2 gigs of built-in memory, so you have the ability to store photos and videos, and it retails at close to $600. It's also helpful to look at the specifications side by side with a competitive unit from Leupold. The sizes are relatively similar, both the size and the weight. The LCD resolution, not quite as good on the Leupold. It also doesn't have an eyepiece, so you hold it out away from your eye. For my purposes in hunting at night, this illuminates your face. I'm not wild about that. It does have a better sensor in it, so it's able to detect heat signatures out to close to 600 yards. So it's a significant advantage over the Scout TK. It doesn't have a built-in battery. It takes a CR123. Those aren't hard to find, but it's supposed to last for close to 10 hours. 6 color palettes as opposed to 9, no built-in memory or photo video capture options, and the price is a little bit higher at $700. So I'll walk you through the use of the unit, and they've done a pretty good job with the design. It's fairly intuitive. It comes with a built-in rubber lens cap on the front. It's attached so you don't lose it. Long press on the power button powers the unit on. You get an LED light, green if the battery is good, amber or red if it needs to charge. This is a little bit of a problem for me because I use this a lot at night when I'm hunting pigs and things like that. So I'll cover this up with a piece of black duct tape just to keep myself concealed in the tree stand when this thing is powered on. And then obviously you can take this off when you're using it in the daylight and not a concern. Short press on that power button gets you into the menu, and I'll show you that in a second. But the up arrow button will cycle you through or turn the brightness up on the screen that you're looking at through the eyepiece. A short press on the center camera button will take a picture as many times as you want. And then if you want a video, a long press on that center camera button will turn the video recording on. Short press to turn it off. The bottom or the down arrow will cycle through one of 9 different color palettes for any different application, depending on ambient temperatures or whatever you need. USB connection for uploading data or charging is underneath this rubber cap to keep it water resistant. And the long press on that power button shuts the whole thing off. You can adjust the sharpness of the image that you're getting when you look through the eyepiece using this little knob at the back. Now I'll walk you through the navigation of the menu once you're into that menu screen with a short press of the power button with the unit powered on. Okay, so I'll go ahead and apologize for the generally wobbly nature of this part of the video. I'm literally having to film this with my phone through the eyepiece of this unit because you can't record the operation of the menu. But the menu itself is fairly intuitive, if not a little bit clunky. It gives you options where you can toggle on and off the battery meter on the screen, whether or not you're looking at the date and time, whether or not you're looking at a 12-hour or a 24-hour clock, even whether or not you have the buttons visible over here on the left-hand side. You can set whether or not you want the unit to power off. I leave that on never just so it doesn't turn off when it's hanging around my neck. And some of the software particulars and everything here so you can see what versions you're on and the like. One feature in here that I sort of scratch my head over is this gallery where you can scroll through the images and the videos that you have saved on the internal storage in the unit, but you can't actually play them back. You can select and delete the individual files, but you can't do much else in there. So it's of limited value to me. I don't really like it very much, but I guess maybe it has some uses if you wanted to delete a video. And that's pretty much it. I mean, there's really not a lot of options in this menu, but it serves every purpose that I need.
All right, so really quickly, let me run you through some pros and cons, likes and dislikes of this particular unit now that we've had a chance to use it extensively in the field. Starting first with the pros, is a compact design, good battery life, entry-level price point, and safety and security. I'll explain what I mean by each one of these things. Starting first with the design, it's about 6 inches long, 2 inches tall, 2 inches wide. It weighs about 6 ounces. It's not going to be a problem for you on a single day hunt, multi-day hunt, to have this in your pocket, in your pack. It's never going to become a burden at this size. Battery life. The manufacturer says that the battery on a single charge is going to last you 5 hours or more. I don't have any reason to disagree with that, quite frankly. While I don't leave it powered on for the entirety of a hunt, I've never had it die on me in one single hunt. Battery life's not an issue. The price point, look, thermal technology is just not cheap. It hasn't been around for as long as night vision, and the prices are coming down, but this thing MSRP is at around $600. That's not cheap really for any budget, but it does get you the capability into your pack at that entry-level price point. And lastly, safety and security. Instead of you, even if you have a thermal scope, instead of you raising your gun up and pointing your gun in any direction where you want to look at a thermal or a heat signature, I have this small unit that I can raise up just my arm and look much more safely in any direction, and it's a lot easier as I'm walking through the woods if you're mobile just to raise this up instead of swinging your overall gun up. If you add those pros up, which are significant advantages to this overall unit, it does its job. That's what it all sums up to, and that's really all that you need out of something like this. That's what you're looking for, and it does what it's supposed to do. All right, if I had to nitpick a bit, and I did, in order to come up with some cons because we've really enjoyed using this particular unit, it's the range, resolution, the LED lights that are on the unit, download capabilities, and no audio on the video. The range, the manufacturer says, is about 100 yards, and yeah, it's probably close to accurate. You're not going to see much out at 100 yards. You may see a heat signature. You're not going to be able to tell what you look at. The manufacturer tells this. You know what you're getting into when you buy it. For my purposes, that's fine. As long as I know that there's some game there, it works okay. Resolution, the screen that you're looking at is a 640 by 480. It's not the sharpest, but this is an entry-level unit, and you're not expecting perfection when you buy it. The LED light that powers on when you turn the unit on is a little bit of a problem for me because I use it a lot at night. Cover it up with tape and you can avoid detection. I had a time getting this thing to hook up to my computer and download images and videos because for some reason it wanted to power off, and maybe that's just my particular setup, but I was able to get a powered USB hub, a USB 3.0 hub, and connect that to my computer and solve that entire problem. So an additional step that you have to go through. Now I have no issues in downloading my videos. And lastly, if you want audio, look somewhere else. You can take pictures, you can take video, but you're not going to get audio with this unit. I have umpteen different cameras with me when I'm in the woods, so I have audio from other sources, but you're not going to get it on this device. These cons are really nitpicks, as I say. The pros far outweigh the cons, and we've really enjoyed using this thing. That's it for us today, you guys. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you found it useful and informative. Thank you so much for being with us. If you enjoyed this, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Hit that notification bell because we got more videos like this coming. And if you found this useful, you don't want to miss the next ones. We'll see you next time, and God bless.